Hi everyone. Well, everyone, two people, whoever is in the chat. Alright, I'm Luke Hector, and with me I have got.
I'm Jody Thompson.
And I am Justin Thompson.
And we're Board Game Perspective.
Is it? And if you don't know who they are, then shame on you. Is it? That's how it is. But no. The Board Game Perspective. Actually, why am I explaining it? Why don't you explain it? Say, what got you into gaming, and just what is it you do?
Sure, yeah. So we got into gaming years ago, mainly through my brother. He was our big inspiration, and really our channel, Board Game Perspective, is all in honor of my brother. His name is Lauren. So way long ago, he got us into Ticket to Ride, Catan, all that stuff many, many years ago. And then 4 or 5 years ago, we started getting a lot more into the hobby, playing a lot of different things. And then unfortunately, he got diagnosed with brain cancer. And during that time frame, we spent a lot of time together playing games. And that's really what kind of sparked my love for board games. And I drug him into the hobby as well. So, yeah, but we got started with Board Game Perspective last year when COVID hit. We had a lot more time, and we're like, okay, I love board games. He loves photography, and I got him into board games. So we're like, well, why don't we join the two together and just have some fun and see what happens? And so here we are. You want to say anything?
Yeah, I like photography, so I just started taking some photos of some of the components of different games, and we were like, hey, why don't we make an Instagram page out of this? Why don't we maybe build a YouTube channel out of it too? And that's what we've done, and here we are. So we're excited to be here with you right now, Luke.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever excited to be with me. What are you about? Now, honestly, because I will confess, I didn't use Instagram a lot before. Like for ages, I sort of just had it as a side thing. Now I'm starting to get more into it, mainly because people actually talk about games on Instagram as opposed to everything else. But Twitter is just going down the tubes for me, and it's like I wanted to try a different channel, and so far I'm liking just everybody is just talking about games and putting up cool pictures on Instagram. So I'm kind of on it, but. So obviously I hadn't seen you guys on Instagram beforehand. Literally the first contact I knew of you was when I was doing the promos last year for those videos. Your name popped up as like recommendations when I was asking, right, who are these other creators I need to know about? And then your promo came in and you explained the stuff about the brother, and that kind of just like straight away hit home.
Yeah.
It's like that's out of all the ways I've heard that people got into games, that's definitely like one of the more unique sort of heartwarming ways. That somebody just sort of kind of gets into it either from a sibling and then you inherited pretty much the whole collection or most of it.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, my brother, obviously he was a huge gamer. He had over 200 games, and we inherited. He wanted to make sure he left us his entire board game collection. So we have over 200 games. Obviously, since then we've swapped some out, traded some in, got some new ones. So it's changed a lot, but.
That's how it started.
That's how it started. So yeah, I have fun organizing my games. So.
Yeah, did you get it organized? Because you were doing that earlier.
Yeah. So I reorganized it all to be horizontal.
Yeah, we just recently put a video out on our YouTube channel of that too. So.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one good. But yeah, they're on Instagram and YouTube, so give them a look-see. I tried to do for ages. I was just horizontal only. Now I've kind of mixed and matched. It just depends what's in the game. If it's going to topple over inside, I'll do it horizontal, like if it's got an insert. But otherwise, if it's like, it's all bagged up and I'm not too fussed, something like those, maybe it's kind of fair game. But there's no hard rule to it. I mean, even tried last time I reorganized it was down to like publisher. I'll try and just keep the fantasy. I'll try and keep the fantasy flights there, the AEGs there, and they're sort of in that. I mean, AEG, then Portal, then a bit of Days of Wonder as we go down that column. But even that's problematic because as soon as you have a diehard rule in there, as soon as I've got to take games out and put them in,
Right.
Yeah.
so I got no more space. It's like, well, I'll take out this tiny AEG thing, and now I've got to put in this giant game. It's like, where do I put it? All right, that should be good. So, I will mention that there may be a tiny bit of echo heard on their side. We've only got this sound setup that works, but that just means I'll try and shut up more often or talk a little bit quieter and that, and it won't be too bad, but hopefully it's not going to do your heads in over there in the chat. But let us know if it gets out of hand. We'll see what we can do. It may just be a case of like volume control or something like that. But yeah, so we've got top 10 beautiful games, and beautiful is about as subjective as you can get. The eye of the beholder is kind of the shtick with this. And when I looked up the word beautiful in the dictionary, and it says pleasing the senses aesthetically. That's what it means. And the echo seems to have gone. But the echo is fine according to Hexy Beast. All right, cool. So we'll go with it. But yeah, so trying to think of like 10 games. I mean, I came up with a good list of games that I thought looked good, like from a beautiful standpoint, but trying to rank them from 10 to 1 was like nigh impossible. So I would take that bit with a grain of salt. But I think it's not just a case of, the components are good quality, because that alone is not enough. But then also it's not just, the artwork's gorgeous, therefore it counts. I think it's just, it is a weird one. It's just like, if on an emotional level or on the kind of zen level, like, like relaxing level, like you get into the game, you get more immersed in it. If even if it's just an abstract, if it's beautiful to look at, you just gotta sit there and just go, you know what, I just like staring at this. Like maybe when it's not your turn, it doesn't matter because they're doing their turn. You've already thought about what you're doing, but there's the board. I just want to stare at it for a bit. And there are some games where I am a bit like that. A good example would be, I haven't got it out here at the moment, but I've got to do a very quick review for Eternal Palace soon. Alley Cat Games' new one. It's kind of like Chinese art themed. And there's a gimmick in that as you collect these art pieces, it doesn't make any difference to points or anything, but you've got this little collage thing in front of you that you can just sort of stack the tiles on and create your own little picture. It's purely there as a gimmick, but I guarantee you, when it's not my turn, I'm busy with that picture trying to get it in. It's your turn, Luke. Wait, what? Oh, you ruined my art. But it's that kind of thing. So, have you got any hard and fast rule with yours? Is it just does it look good on camera, therefore it counts?
Well, I'll let you chime in first.
No, I mean, when we did this, we first, sat down and made our own lists, and then we had to figure out how to combine them into one list. And, we definitely came up with different ideas, but there was certainly a lot of crossover. So I think obviously visually it's appealing, but also what does it kind of evoke from you, pull out of you emotionally, or like, how does that game make you feel? And it may not make every single person feel the same way. Like, for example, our number 10 is going to be probably not a lot of people are going to agree with it. I'm just guessing, but everybody's going to be a little bit different in how they feel about the different games.
It's subjective. I mean, everybody's got their ideas about what looks good. We were joking before this stream started that like 2 games we could think of that nobody should ever call beautiful would be Carpe Diem by Feld or Food Chain Magnate. And yet we have both heard people who have said they are beautiful games. Don't ask me what they took before they made that statement, but you take the right stuff, anything appears all rainbow colored and beautiful, but I just couldn't understand how they could be referred to it. But I mean, it is just going to be different strokes, and as I say, don't take my ranking with it. So, fair enough. I think it's just a case that we do it, and then everybody can just shout at us if they think that's not beautiful or what you're doing. But
We'll take it.
As I say, we're just going to do our best to justify it. So, without further ado, guests go first. Take it away.
All right, so for us, number 10 is going to be, and I said it may not evoke the same kind of emotion as it does out of me, but I love the look of chess. Okay, so for me,
I did not see that coming.
I told you.
I figured you wouldn't. So for me, it's the beauty and the simplicity of the way that the game looks, the symmetry of it, the pattern of the board, the also kind of the beauty of how it's played, how it's got very simple rules, but it's so complex in all the things that you can do and the strategy and all of that. So I love it. And obviously a high quality chess set is one of the most beautiful things to me to look at.
Yeah, so we got a nice wooden chess set, weighted pieces. So we actually just have one out on our dining table as like our centerpiece. So we just have a chess set out, and it's just so beautiful to look at whenever we walk by. And so we find ourselves like, throughout the day, I'll put out a piece and I'll wait and see if he responds later, if he discovers that I put out a piece. And we just have it out all the time, because it's just really fun to look at. It's just a great classic piece to have in the middle of the table. So
I get the idea with centerpiece. I mean, I must admit, I did not see that coming.
we told you.
we definitely will have interesting, because it's kind of weird. I can't look at it and say, oh, it's ugly or anything like that, because come to think of it, I do remember going to an aunt and uncle's before, and they had a glass set, and we played it every now and again, but it just sat as a centerpiece, and I always liked the look of it.
Yeah.
And that seemed pretty good. And some of these pictures here, you can get some nice looking stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Some chess sets are not pretty to look at, but like the classic, really nice wood ones.
Yeah. Obviously, if you go and pick up a plastic one from Walmart or something like that, or whatever, it's gonna look one way.
Ew.
But then there's a lot of different renderings. Like, what is that? I don't really know.
I know that is.
But
Umbro.
But yeah, there's a lot of ways that people get creative with how they make the games look, or they're themed like that. Yeah, I love that.
There's a more, but yeah, I mean, you brought up beautiful, obviously, like in terms of mechanics and simplicity as well, which is not something I thought of. So that'd be interesting to see how that differs on a few parts. But I can't remember the last time I played chess. I was like chess club member through like primary school, a side club in secondary school, played it for ages, and then I think they just got to a point in college where I just stopped, and then I haven't played it like much since. It just used to be like a childhood thing.
Yeah.
It's an odd one, but here's a good one. Alrighty, so 10 on mine, and it's a good thing I've got my Google Drive so I can actually remember half of mine of that. But so Yellow, IELLO, puts out quite a lot of games that are considered like pretty nice looking. They do good on the whole artwork, but I'm a big fan of anything kind of Chinese, Japanese themed, as well as kind of pastel/watercolored type look. I think that was about the only form of art I was even remotely half decent at back at school, because I can't draw for toffee. But anything like that, I always like the look of, and certainly if I go to any art, why would I be in an art gallery? I don't know. Like future Mrs. likes art, maybe I'll end up in an art gallery, but then maybe I'll go with it. But with my one, I have quite a give a Kanagawa. Very small little game, pretty simple one with cards, but the cover itself is already just a very nice, relaxed, like, I've just painted this kind of look. But as you're going through, it's a very simple tableau building game, and I know it's trying to find a decent image for it, but it's the idea that you're putting together all these cards in a line to create your kind of watercolor picture. So it's already quite a relaxing game anyway. Yes, you draft from a central tableau, someone might take the cards you want, but other than that, it's very much trying to collect the different sets. So I've got set of trees, set of buildings, I've got the different weather symbols in the top right, is it autumn, summer, spring, and they link together, so it's not like it goes out of line, regardless of whether you change landscape and that, it still meets in the middle, so it looks like a proper panoramic picture. Another thing I always quite like the look of. But if you can't put it in the painting, you'll put it in your studio where you get the effects, but it's all about, I need the black color, I need the yellow color, I need all these to put the extra paintings in, and once you're done with it, you do end up with a nice big sort of outline panoramic picture, and it is all just the watercolor style of art. Like I say, I wish that maybe like the cards were a little bigger and it was a bit more of a spectacle, but I do sort of just love that little artwork. And you've got the little paint easel pots on the side. That's a kind of like a roll up mat, a bit like the mats you put on the beach or something. I forget what the material is, but And it's just like it's a nice little pretty game. It's just a small box as well, very simple. But yeah, I get a little thing for the artwork in that.
Yeah, we've never actually played that, but I have. Whenever I see that box cover, it does draw me in. I've always been intrigued. I haven't actually played it, but I've always been intrigued when I saw that cover. It definitely was drawing me in. But
Well, I love the look of watercolor paintings in general. So I mean the look of that is just I mean yeah, it's beautiful, the pastel kind of a look. And you might see that we'll have a theme of some Asian kind of looking games as well. So yeah, we're with you there.
Yeah, trying to see if I can't see the. Trying to actually wait a minute. It will tell me on the thing because maybe it's worth highlighting a few artists. We've got Jade Mosk. Not sure what else Jade has done. Kanagawa and Dream Runners. Okay, so hasn't done a huge amount, but yeah, she did a good job with this one.
yeah, definitely.
All right, what's next? Oh yes, what was it? When we are nice, you got to do all the fancy stuff. Put the time for it. Okay, number 9s.
All right, so number 9. This is Black Fleet. So so the first of all, the board is beautiful. I mean, if you lay it out, it just draws you in. The vibrant colors, and then you got the islands, and then you get your different ships.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the merchant ships, the pirate ships, the navy ships, all out on the board. It's just really fun and beautiful. And I mean, I gotta say, it also comes with these doubloons, and you know, you got the metal doubloons. Yeah, that component factor.
Have you got them
fun.
there?
Yeah.
You doing a little show and tell? No one
Yeah.
We got a little bit.
Yeah, I'm all about I love components. I love So of course, show and tell today.
Yeah, for sure. So we just love the whole package of it. You know, if you put the board out on the table, it is going to pop up at you, and it's just vibrant, and it's hard to ignore. And then you know the interaction in the game is a lot of fun as well.
Yeah.
So it's really a good looking game in our opinion.
Yeah, it's a great family weight game. I mean, we played this with some family friends, and their kids played it with it too, and they had fun too. You know, we were trying to get your merchant ship across the board to deliver goods to get doubloons, because you got to pay doubloons to flip over those victory cards. And then everybody has their pirate ship that can go try to steal goods. Oh, and I forgot to mention that you actually can put the goods inside the ship, as you see right there. So I mean, that's just a cute factor for me. So yeah, and then you can sink ships. It's just a lot of fun. It's great. It's a great family weight game.
Because when I think beautiful, I think like blowing up other people's ships and sinking them, and and like carnage and chaos is the first thing. It's definitely a looker though. Yeah, it is good, like colourful game. Again, I must admit, yeah, I was not expecting that one either. I have played it before, so I don't think I went mad on it when I played it. Although I don't tend to go for a lot of the crazy mean games, even if they are kind of just basic, like. Even if it's lightweight, like the whole game is about carnage. Right. I do remember like getting screwed over quite a lot in this one. But no surprise that kids will like it, because kids will jump at the idea of being able to sink their parents or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a great family weight game, for sure.
Oh, that obviously talking from experience, I wouldn't want to. I mean, family as long as they all get along. That's the idea. Otherwise, it could be
as long as they can all forgive later. Yeah.
Yeah, there are some games I would not do for that purpose. All right, number 9, I'm going to Days of Wonder for mine. And I did have a few to consider, and to be fair, you could get quite a few Days of Wonder games in general just because they look good. But in terms of like, okay, I'm just going to stare at this for a long time, it's not so much about the board the components in this one. The board looks nice, but you cannot stare at that cover and not go, oh, like drool. It's just one. It's one of the best box covers I've seen for Yamatai, and just to look at that again. I mean, I'm trying to think actually. 1, 2, 3. I wonder how many games I have got with this like Chinese Japanese / theme on here. Actually, come to think of it, but what can I say? Their stuff looks good, but the board itself already a beautiful color scheme. Even that's just pre-set up with various tokens and that the character bits at the top, the different shaped tiles with the vibrant imagery on there. Everything's just like brightly in your face color. Those things, always love these ones with the proper font, the actual sort of authentic look,
Yeah,
at least
that.
authentic in my opinion. But and then the only thing that slightly brings it a bit further down the list is that even though it is very colorful, you are effectively talking these giant fat wooden pieces. It's not like these are blend colors or anything like that. It's just like here's a big slab of red wood on there. But that minor nitpick aside, it's just once you got it all set up with, that's not a bad picture actually, with all the different ships, all the different coins, those tokens, those tiles, player boards in front, it's like there's nothing in here that's remotely ugly.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree. I love the look of that.
I mean, Days of Wonder, Days of Wonder always delivers for the looks for me. I got my own little Days of Wonder collection. So
yeah, their productions are always really, really nice. Really nice.
They're usually nice, but whether half of them are beautiful is another thing. Because staring down there, Cleopatra is a nice component-wise, but it is basically a bunch of beige plastic. It's not something I would call beautiful. It's just like it's a production thing. But even a few of the others, I did think of 5 Tribes at first, but then that's it's beigey tiles and it's just a lot of different color meeples, and it's like okay, yeah, you've got a beautiful cover, but then once you get back into the game, it's like I'm not really staring at the game going, this is really pretty. I'm more staring at that game trying to figure out what on earth I'm going to do next.
True, yeah.
Although to be fair, this has a similar thing with that. Trying to figure out your next move is somewhat brain burning in this, but even if not, I'm just going to stare at the pictures. So.
Perfect.
It works with it. All right, moving on. Moving on to 8. Okay.
Number 8.
Number 8, we are going to go with Wingspan. Okay.
Wingspan.
So you talk about kind of the pastel-y colors and things like that. It's this one has that, but it's also got a little bit more. And this is one of Jody's favorite games, ever. So tell us a little bit.
Well, no, it's not one of my I like it, but there are a lot of others above it. But
of course,
we'll
it's a perfectly okay game. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. 10 out of 10. So of course, it's a good game.
So yeah,
noticed that. Sorry, I just noticed that actually. Number 1 in family rank.
Wow.
I didn't realize that either. Huh. Yeah, so all of the different eggs just makes me happy seeing a bunch of different eggs on the player boards. I mean, the player boards themselves, the player boards themselves are just beautiful to look at. And then you got, of course, the bird feeder. And of course, if you want to nerd out and get some upgrades, there's a lot of cool upgrades for this game with all the food tokens. I haven't gone there yet, but I would like to get some cool little food tokens, actual like little worms and stuff. But yeah, it's fun. You're like playing cards, you're getting food and laying eggs and drawing cards and trying to get the most points. It's a great experience, gameplay and visually as well.
And I think one of the most appealing things about the game is obviously all the birds are beautiful and all of the cards they're completely different. Every single card has a different bird on it, and that's one of the things to me that's what's amazing about just nature in general is how many different bird species there are and how they've rendered every single one of these just in such a beautiful way. So I really love the look of all of the cards and the birds on the cards.
Oh, just ask my dad. I mean, this is a game I am so scared about showing this to my dad because he's a bird fan. So we bought him binoculars. He knows about birds. They've got bird tables at the back of their massive garden in the country and that. And so it's like, you want to know about birds, it's dad you talk to. But the thing is, I don't know if he'll get this game because I've got them into more modern games, but they are in their late 60s. They're, love them to bits, but they struggle to get a lot of the complexity rules down. I mean, I've only just managed to get Splendor and Sushi Go and stuff like that into their heads, and Dad's favorite is Ticket to Ride, and Jaipur even took a while. And I'm just worried that Wingspan is going to overwhelm him a bit.
Yeah.
I promised him that next time, I think Easter, I'm next to you to visit them. So, because they're other side of the country, I think I did say, all right, fine, I'm going to bring it home and we'll just try it. Base game only, no expansions. I'll help you through it because I just want him to look at all the birds and start giving us trivia lessons or something. It'll work. Because he'll probably do that. And there's another one, actually. 1 sec, I might be able to reach it. On a similar line, actually. I had some advanced copy of this to look at. Meadow.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
And like I said, I've given it a beans. I need to do a blitz review on it at some point. But again, it's got that nice artwork with the animals and that. But every single piece of art in here is unique. And there's an index list in the book index list that tells you about every single animal, bird, bug, plant that's used with a bit of trivia behind it. So there's no abilities. It's just how many points it gives you and what symbols it needs. But it's like a whole index to learn about each and every one. And if you play the Wingspan app, the digital version, you've got the option to turn on a narrator who every time you select the bird to do something or whatever, it gives you the trivia as well. It's just a nice little extra thing on there. Although, one thing I've noticed with someone who's just mentioned, I need to find the a comment. The Oceania expansion, presumably you've got that.
I did. I bought it for a friend. I haven't pulled the trigger myself, but I was able to look through the cards for the Oceania expansion, and it was the bird cards in those looked really, really awesome. Super intriguing.
Well, Hex's comment, and I must admit, I kind of side with him on this and that. Do you think the board looks worse in Oceania, the replacement board? Because I liked the light-coloured pastel board from the original set.
Yeah.
This darker look, I think, isn't as good.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely. I like the original better for sure.
And it's not helped by the fact that there's more iconography over it. I mean, I've got Oceania, but I've yet to break it out properly because of lockdown and that. So I'm in two minds as to whether I'm going to enjoy Oceania enough. What I might do is take the birds that don't require the nectar resource and then leave it at that. Like don't use the replacement board. I don't know. I've got a feeling I'm going to be sort of cannibalizing this one a little bit, but no one's going to argue it's not beautiful. So with that in mind. Sorry, Hexy, we're going to have to say bye to you for a minute. Right. So number 8. Right, well, where do birds like to live? Well, they like to live in trees, obviously. Trees are obviously a good one, and I think this is probably one of you. I swear I've seen a picture of this on your Instagram at some point, which was there, because if it's not, I'll be very surprised. But clearly, photosynthesis has to be somewhere on you. If it's not on your list, I'll be shocked, because I know you've got pictures of this somewhere on your Instagram channel. But abstract is all get out, the theme's not even really there, but it's basically a cameraman's dream with this one, even like just me with a mobile phone, because already you've got the cardboard standees with like the beautiful trees on it. You put them all together in this board, it looks amazing anyway, but then as soon as you start like getting the camera down and low and actually like peer it into the forest from the sideways view, it is just like going through a little mini forest.
Yeah it is. Wow.
Add to that like the player boards on the side. Yes, I mean the board itself is not that pretty in the slightest. It's purely the trees once they go on there, as well as your little player board. That's already got some really nice colours on it with the trees all stacked up ready to go. Aside from that, it's essentially an abstract game. You're just plunking the trees down, trying to control the areas while being mean as all get out. It is pretty mean. For something that's supposed to be all about nice, happy trees, it's a case of, my tree is bigger than yours, therefore you don't get to grow today. It's like, excuse me? It's pretty nasty, but no spoilers, but I'll be shocked if it's not on your list.
We'll see. It definitely is beautiful. I mean, you could create some really fun shadows. Yeah, there you go, right there. That's a really pretty picture right there for sure. Yeah.
That'll be Steph Hodges. Yeah, she does quite a few photos in that as well. But I mean, unless you're just little backdrops like that, it's just enough. Get the light in. Everything just looks nice with whatever arrangement of pictures you've got, and then add the cover as well on top. It's always a looker, even if I must admit after time I tend to lose this one, I think. But I'll just have, it's like, oh, we finished, oh, I lost, oh well, never mind, right. It's almost like hard to, you don't want to chop the tree down, because halfway through you've got to decide, well, I need to harvest this tree or something. It's like, no, you've just ruined the forest. Suddenly it's like left with scorched earth, and it's like, that's no good. Yeah. Nothing I want there. But always a good one. So not much more to say on that one. We'll move on to 7s.
All right, so number 7. This one is definitely unique in the way that it looks, and it is based on the city in Greece, Santorini. And so
okay.
Santorini, the actual city, is obviously a very beautiful place. It sits on an island in Greece, and I think that they did a very good job of kind of representing the beauty of the actual city in the game as well, with all of these little plastic pieces that you build up and you put these blue domes on top of, and it just looks really, really cool, and it looks like you're kind of going through the city of Santorini. And the game itself, it's an abstract game. And you're competing with the other person. It's generally a 2-player game. There are other ways you can play it too, but they recommend 2 players. But you're basically competing with the other person that you're playing against to try and reach a 3rd level, 3 levels of a building, and get your player on top, get your little pawn on top of it. And so it's a fun little game, and once all the pieces kind of get built up and you've got this little city, it looks really, really cool.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely one of the prettier abstracts out there, in my opinion. I mean, this 3D board, it's really cool.
I did consider it. It was shortlisted. It's not like I like the game fine, but it's kind of like I kind of refuse to play it 3 or 4 player. It's like this is head-to-head 2-player, really.
Yeah.
Because it gets a bit unbalanced otherwise with that front. And I don't get a lot of 2-player games at the table often, so I kind of didn't get this one played enough to want to own it. But it is nice building it up, and it does make me want to actually go visit Santorini to see what it's like in person. 'Cause seen some photos of it, and it's just like, yeah, that does look pretty nice.
Yeah, it's definitely a fascinating game.
Yeah.
Is yours like have you got like the recent one where it does away with this massive plinth or whatever it is, the island, or have you got the original version?
No, we had the original one. Yeah, this was actually one of my brother's games that he gave us.
So how many did you actually have any games before you got your brother?
Yeah, so we had started our own collection, and then we added his, and of course there were duplicates, and yeah, so we definitely
yeah, before we got his games, we were probably somewhere between 30 and 50 games, and then immediately overnight it turned to 250. So
yeah, when we originally got them, like our whole dining room floor was just stacks of games I had to go through and figure out. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, we ended up having to figure out how to store them. We didn't have our own Kallax shelf unit at the time, so we were like, oh, we gotta get that and make this organized in some way, shape, or form. So yeah.
Trying to think, like Chronicles of Crying, Courage, 7 Wonders, trying to see like the ones behind you on there. Those 6 on. Well, actually, some of them must be yours because they're too recent, otherwise. But
yeah. Alien Frontiers was one of his.
That makes sense.
But I love that game.
I've still got it. Yeah, I'm one of the few defenders of it. Everyone's always
me too.
They also that should say, oh, but what about Marco Polo and all that lot? And it's like, well, what of them? It's like they're boring. I don't like them. It's like Alien Frontiers. I'll go with that. It don't work, but fair enough. All right, moving on to mine. When I got to ranking this one, I had no idea where it was going to fit amongst a lot, but Portal games is not usually the first people I think of where it's like, okay, this is the most beautiful game ever. Not to say that Portal games look ugly or anything, but it's kind of like, all right, you got some good components, you got the good immersion theme there, but it's like trying to think of a game where I can look at this and go, no, this actually looks really good. You probably have not played this. Maybe you haven't even seen it. I don't know, but I don't know if Predaporter happens to be anything you're aware of.
I am aware of it. I don't think he's aware of it.
I've seen in her viewings of board game channels on YouTube. I've seen it pop up, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I haven't got the time to get it off the shelf and do show and tells like you have. But this one, I'd only heard about it before, and like what its second edition of it was obviously we didn't look anything like it at all. But it just intrigued me when they said they were going to reprint it, because it's kind of like, okay, something with a fashion theme. I know nothing about that, case in point, but it was just something like, all right, I'm going to check it out. But when I did see it eventually, again, it uses a lot of that watercolor style artwork across all like the player boards, the cards, all the design pictures are kind of like partially drawing, partial color, as if like someone's sketching it out.
Oh yeah.
Like here's the design and then it fills up. But all the artwork is kind of a bit like this. Like you can see the paint splodges behind. It's that kind of motif. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the cards themselves are kind of standard, but again, it's very pleasant colors. You've got a bit of teal, you've got the red, you've got an orangey one as well. But I'm trying to find like a good close-up one of the board that isn't covered in a ton of cards, which is proving somewhat difficult. But maybe we can give him a plug. Maybe he owes me royalties now. But but I found this one just to be a good little pleasant one. These little pieces of the threads that have got the little etchings on them, like to show that the needle and threads. The theme itself, just like putting on a fashion show, is just something that I mean, the whole idea of it is beauty. At the end of the day, that's what half of fashion is. But everything in the game is color. This nice little artwork. You know, this sketchboards. That's a better one. Much better example.
Nice.
Over that, but yeah, even with the cards on it, you know, the cards blend into the color backgrounds. You got the brown, red, and blue. The designs below it, 5 different colors, red, greens. I mean, everything is just screaming color. And I suppose that's one thing for me. There's 2 forms of beautiful I can think of. You know, one is just fill me with saturated color, or give me the kind of stark and beautiful look.
Yeah, that's definitely really pretty.
But heavy as well is one of the few heavy economic games I'll get behind, because most of the time I will not, you know, I will not go near a heavy economic game. Yeah,
that's him. I'm more of the heavy gamer. He's the lighter, abstract.
Is it? So what? So what? He's more abstract. You're.
Yeah.
So I suppose if one of you is more theme and one. So if one of you is more theme and one's more mechanics, which way around would that be then?
Well, I gotta admit, I like a wide range of games, so that can be problematic because I want to get all kinds of games. Yeah. But he definitely likes the lighter, simpler, more. He does like the abstract games.
I like more abstract. I like things that are a little bit more straightforward. For example, chess. We talked about. For me, all of the pieces have one specific move that they make. The complexity comes in how you actually make them all work together. So that kind of thing I like. It's when there's a bunch of things going on all over the place that it just this does I don't know, it confuses me and my brain. So I don't even mess with that.
Yeah, I have to beg. Well, for my birthday a month ago or so, I begged him to play Maracaibo with me. So I got him to play Maracaibo with me. Yeah, I used my birthday as an excuse.
A bit above his pay grade, was it? It's like I can't even take a good photo of this. What am I supposed to do? It's like, no way. I mean, it's not exactly a bad look at that one, but still, I think you're limited on what you can do with Maracaibo in a sense. But yeah, sure. I mean, if that's your thing, then yeah, I could see this one being, because this one does require you to be pretty frugal with your arithmetic in terms of what money you have and what you're doing. So yeah, it might be a bit of a mammoth one in that sense, but still beautiful. What was that there? That was number 7s, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Losing count.
All right, number 6 for us is Takenoko, the cute panda game with bamboo, the gardener, landscape tiles. I mean, it's just the cutest thing, and it's so pretty out on the board. I mean, on your table. I mean, if you just see it out there, it just draws you in because it's gorgeous, and you have these cute, like, oh my gosh, the panda. And if you get the expansion, the TV expansion, you got, Mrs. Panda, And then yeah, and then just I love having the bamboo, and you have to move the panda across the tiles to go eat bamboo. So you can complete objectives, and the gardener moves across and grows the bamboo, and you have to have these little irrigation channels to grow the bamboo. Yeah, it's just it's cute, it's pretty. I love the gameplay. It's a good game to get people to play.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think just like she was saying, the colorful tiles, but it's kind of got a little bit of that pastel-y look and that Asian kind of a theme, obviously. But it's also the bamboo working upward just kind of gives it an extra dimension and a little bit more presence on the table. So I really, really like it.
Yeah, you had fun. Actually, I think earlier on Instagram days, you did a really cute picture with Mr. Panda peeking out behind one of the shoots of bamboo.
I might have to see if I can find
it. Yeah, so we definitely had fun on Instagram with this one. So it'll show up more.
I'm almost slightly regretting I didn't put this on the list. I don't know. It's I'm denied about this one for ages. I mean, you could probably call it my 11. I wasn't sure if this would go up or Kanagawa would. I mean, I can't deny anything about it. It is beautiful, and I do love the game. I've still got it, but in fact, I've got it with chibis as well as the giant set in the other room.
Oh my gosh!
I've used it for demonstration purposes with like my local cafe, and plus I like the game. I wanted a giant jumbo set of Takinoko. Who wouldn't? But just the idea that I can basically kind of sort of go like giant chunk of bamboo on each other with like a panda that's about this big,
yes.
with the female panda as well. It's just when you get the jumbo one set up, it is a spectacle.
that is like high up on my wish list, is getting the giant Takanoko set like that. I mean, he's heard me talk about it multiple times. Like I mean, it's a pretty penny, but it's like a couple $100 or something like that. But one day soon, hopefully, maybe I'm gonna get that, because it is just, oh my gosh, the table presents for those large bamboos. Oh my gosh, it's so cute.
Yeah, I don't think I can find a easy way of looking up the jumbo set. I mean, you just got like the little mini ones there.
Yeah.
Although I've never agreed that because this is all like, isn't this cute? Like they're in love and that. I'm not convinced the male panda is that into it, really. Originally, the male panda just had one thing it wanted: food.
Right.
Nothing else. But then suddenly the female panda turns up and is constantly because in order to get the kid tokens, the female panda is chasing him as opposed to the other way round. So I always get the impression that he's just after food.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
kind
really
of like,
funny.
go away, I'm trying to enjoy my food.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but nah, it's a beautiful one, and that jumbo set is pretty good. Actually, I've got to find it. I got to show it. Jumbo set. I wonder if it's like a quick Google search with the giant edition.
Mm-hmm.
So, get on there. Is that a big enough picture? It's not showing up well because it's opening up other tabs and that. But well, never mind. But just imagine everything about 10 times larger.
I know. That's why I want to get it.
I can't remember. I think I bought it. I got it at Essen. It only cost me about, I think it cost me about 120 quid at the time, and that was part of a bundle that Matago did where it included Takinoko with chibis and some sculpture thing, which is not within hand's reach because I think it's in the other room, which is featured in some of my vids before. But no, I am not going to the other room to lift the entire set off the shelf because we'll be here for ages trying to do it at that. But yeah, this is like the one game that goes against as Tim kind of says, pandas are not usually the best at keeping their numbers in check, shall we say, when it comes to population control. So this is the one game that goes against Phoebe in a massive way. Okay, right. Number 6 for me. If it's not Takinoko, I don't need to belabor this one too much. We've already had it. It's a crossover, and actually curious. Do you think there's this one crossover? Do you think there'll be any more?
I think there's going to be maybe one or two more. Yeah, for
Right,
sure.
I'm going to guess one of them already, just on the basis that you've already heard me talk about it. But yeah, I don't deny, of course, Wingspan deserves to be on this list.
Yeah.
I don't just love the game; I think it's beautiful.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, it really is.
They've pretty much said it all. Lovely bird pictures, mini eggs that you have to remind people not to eat, and the pastel boards, digital or not, it looks gorgeous. But not much else I can really add on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it.
That's although I'm kind of done with expansions. I think we're good to like cut the expansions now because, as I say, Oceania I don't think is going to be quite as big a hit. I mean, it's certainly not getting as much of a splash. People were sort of like, "Oh God, Oceania's out now." Have you heard anybody talk about it since it came out though?
Not
No.
really. Yeah.
I got the feeling that Oceania was like, oh, everyone looked forward to it. Everyone got mad about it, like mad in hype. And then it came out, reviews started coming, or people started experiencing it. And some people have absolutely loved it. But I bet a lot of people have come to it and going, oh, this isn't quite what I was hoping for. Not quite as much as, say, European one did, which was just like, oh, here's a bucket load of cards.
Right.
That's good. But it doesn't matter what country they're from. I mean, I wouldn't recognize most of the birds in it anyway, or something. It's like, that's an eagle, that's a swan. That'll do me. It's like I don't know if something's like the the Canadian barbarian thrush or whatever it's or little thing like that. Is that my knowledge on birds? As much as my dad knows a ton about them, it's not like I'm constantly listening every time he rattles on about them. I do sometimes have to kind of like just zone it out for a minute. It's like, okay, I get it. It's a small, pretty bird. Right, I don't need to know its mating rituals or anything like that, or its where it appears or anything like that, and because he'll do it. We'll look out the window. I'll just be like, because their lounge kind of overlooks it, so we sit there, and even if I'm usually quite bored at home because there's not much else to do, but if I'm just chatting to the parents, I'll just stare out the window because it is pretty, but. Occasionally, Dad will just perk up and go, "Do you recognize that bird there?" And it's like, "It's black." I don't know. As if he's expecting me to suddenly come out of the woodwork as this mastermind of birds. It's like, no, it's small, it's black. And it's like, well, have a guess. Have a guess out of what? It's like blackbird. There you go. It's like, my knowledge on the subject is not good. Therefore, I don't know what he expects.
It looks like this one I saw on Wingspan, on a Wingspan card.
No, but that was like, oh, was it? Why did it not feature enough in Doctor Who or James Bond, Luke? It's like, yeah, hey, haha. It's like, but nah. I love birds, I love animals. I just wouldn't know a lot about them.
All right, coming up next, and I think you're gonna like it. It is Calico.
The art more than the game, but we'll get onto that.
The art more than the game. Well, we have two cats, and I know that you're a fan of cats, so we threw this one on there because the artwork, the patterns, the colors, the everything, it just fits together so nicely, and we just love the look of it. We love the obviously the final outcome, the finished board when you've got your quilt completed and all of these colors are just popping up at you, and it's just gorgeous. It's just beautiful, and we love it.
Yeah, it's so fun seeing the quilt that you made at the end of the game. Like I could just like stare at it for a while because it's just so beautiful. And you got your cat tokens on it and your button tokens, and it's a great. Well, you may not like it as much, but we enjoy playing it together as a two player.
Well, I mean, I say like art more than the game. I still gave it a 7. All right, so I still said it was good. I think it probably would drop for me a little bit, but the problem I had with it was that as a game, it felt. I mean, I must admit, I didn't play it very much in 2-player form, and that might have been it. Maybe in 2-player form, it would have been a lot better. With playing it with 3 and 4, though, it felt very much more like push your luck.
Sure.
In the sense of, there's my 3 tiles that I've got to choose from, and by the time it gets back to my turn, I might as well have just blanked out of existence because they've changed.
Yeah.
And you can't exactly, well, I'm going to set up my score tiles around this AABBCC one. I'll start off this way, and then the tiles don't turn up. Mm-hmm. That sort of irked me a little bit, especially when with a 3 and 4 player game, the game wasn't as short as I wanted it. But solo was a nice little puzzle, but again, more push your luck. I think, like I say, I just needed it more as a 2-player thing.
Sure.
That's why it didn't make my list, because I wasn't just sort of necessarily going beautiful. I also like went for ones that I personally play a lot, but
Definitely.
but certainly, yes, I am a fan of cats, and I would spend most of this game. I think every time I play this game, I try to get as many cat tokens as I can, because I just want the cats. Because I suppose that's the other thing. It is colorful, but I think I get slightly put off by the designs.
Oh, really?
Like the polka dot, the stripes, the leaves, and that. Because when you put them all together, it's like, what kind of quilt is this? So, I'm not a big fan of like patchwork blankets and things like that, because you look at it and it looks like you're like, oh, I just found a bunch of stuff and shoved it together. And it's like, this one is like, I can't imagine anybody makes a quilt that looks like this. With all these different designs randomly all over the place, colors not necessarily in uniform sync. I don't know. It would just kind of hurt me in the sense, but
well, maybe it looks like a 2-year-old put it together, and that's okay. That's okay to us. We like the colors.
I'd say the colors are still nice. I'm not going to say it's ugly in any way, shape, or form. That's only a personal nitpick. I still thought it was beautifully produced, and it does look good. And these cat pictures are sublime. I do like the fact that the rulebook goes into detail as to whose cat they are.
Yeah, when I was reading the rulebook,
that just looks so cute.
I know. Oh, you would love the picture that we took. Our cat is around the same color, and she was curled up just like that on the couch, and we put the box right behind her and took a picture. And we put it on Instagram. It was a fun picture. I don't think we could.
Well, that sounds familiar actually, but
yeah, I don't know if you could see that very well.
Hang on, let me put you on so that is about as oh my god, that's almost like bang on. It's almost like that's your cat, like on the cover. It's like, that is seamless.
Yeah, she was posing.
But it's just so cute.
I know.
Adorable. I do want a cat. I just can't bring myself to do it while I live alone. I feel like, well, the problem is nowadays it's fine. I'm home all the time, but when things start getting back to normal, and hopefully they will, I would be in an office for work, and then I could be at the gym, or I could be going to a game cafe straight afterwards, or a friend's house, and there could be some evenings or some days I'm not home for like 16 hours odd. And so poor cat has got, I know cats are self-sufficient and they're low maintenance, but at some point the cat wants some attention or wants to be fed. And I just feel like it would starve to death if that was the case. I'd feel really bad for it. But, certainly, like, if I met someone and then they were a cat fan, I'd be like, oh yeah, perfect. You want any more? that's my kids' defense. I tell my friends or something. It's like you're not gonna have them when you're older. It's like, well, older. I'm 36, but you're not gonna have them later. It's like, no. And it's like, well, what are you gonna do then? It's like cats. What's wrong with that? Or dogs. I'll settle for dogs. Dogs are cool as well, but I will totally be fine if I meet crazy cat lady who, instead of kids, is like, well, right, we won't have kids, but I want 3 or 4 cats. Fine. Shall we go pick them out now? It's like perfect. I would have no issues with that at all. But yeah, as I say, just didn't blow me away as much as I was hoping from the hype, but easily can see why it's like, if you're into pretty games, it's definitely one to go for. All right, 5 on my side. Right, now this might be a little bit contentious, although I think people would have a go at me if I didn't put this on my list, because I think it depends what you like in terms of your art, because the cover certainly doesn't give out, oh, this is going to be a beautiful game, but when I'm playing it, this is one of the most beautiful games that I like to play, and that's because I like a lot of water scene landscape artwork. So like above or below, like waterfalls and stuff like that. But you show me something like Abyss, and I do love the art in this. Now, granted, it's darker and a little bit more grittier than some, so it's kind of hard to say whether you can call it, whether it's just more like, oh, it's gorgeous, or it's beautiful in a sense, like aesthetically pleasing and that. And obviously the cover doesn't exactly scream out beauty, but this sort of art that like littered throughout it, I just love this kind of water-based landscape with the color. You've got the light coming in, it shines in. I mean, Aquaman, the movie or something, is just a visual spectacle for me, just to see all the underwater scenes in that. But while playing this game, I mean, this is more just the concept art. Where's the actual game? That might help. There is a game here, but best I can get. But simple enough, like game. Just collect the ally cards, all with these sea creatures, the sea, sea lion. I almost said, the seahorse, the octopi, the clams, and that. Get the lords, all these big. I'm trying to find the best pictures, but the big jumbo lords, each with their own artwork. I always consider it kind of like a cross between like the political Senate and the Gungan universe within Star Wars. It's kind of a bit like that, but everything just looks really gorgeous, and I just get hyped up with this art. Yes, I know that is a bit more darker than some other art, which is why I didn't necessarily put it any higher on the list. But especially, I mean, you can tell what that is. It's a big arena, it's a big political arena, but then half the board is black. It's like maybe not the first thing, even though that's normally covered up with cards. But everything just, when I get it out, I've got the playmat as well, although I haven't factored that into the choice because that's a cheat if something needs a playmat to get it through. But just all these cards, all this color and that. And like I say, if like me, you're into that kind of under the sea style artwork, then it just works.
Yeah.
I've never played it.
I haven't played it. I've seen it, and I've always been intrigued by. Well, my favorite color is blue, so there's a lot of blue in here, and so I've always been intrigued by that. But the artwork itself wasn't quite my thing. That's why we didn't pull the trigger on this game.
I liked it though. Like this is really my first time even looking at it, and I like the look of this because I think I tend to go more towards like darker, like more dark tones and a lot more contrast. I think when we have this discussion often about my photos that I post on the Instagram. It's like they need to be brighter. Oh, but I like them to be a little moodier. And it's just like, and there's kind of this
Right.
Yeah, there's this difference in what we want going on. But I actually like the look of this quite a bit.
Yeah. So like I like the underwater theme and stuff. So if I were to pick a game, obviously you pick this one, I would probably pick like Oceans. I really like Oceans with that type of artwork where it's a little more bright. So that's just my personal, I think I just like more bright games.
Yeah, I mean, I like the bright stuff as well, and certainly some of mine I like that. I think I get like Justin's thing about the contrast with this, because that middle row there with the council stacks, the red, yellow, green, blue, and purple, and that just sticks out from like the rest of it. So this one kind of like gives me like, all right, there's that saturated color you like, but then because you're just for some reason I like water-based like scenery and that. Like, I mean, if you want to decorate I haven't got many around the house, if any at all, I must admit, because I don't tend to buy art pieces and that. But people start buying me art pieces. You buy me things like streams, waterfalls, lakes, that kind of thing. Like if I'm looking at holiday, like TripAdvisor style things, like I'm thinking of going somewhere, and I notice things like that, that's the first thing I'll start looking for. I don't know what it is. So it's just something about the water features. I notice that not many people sort of mention a bit of the game. I mean, Kim can't get much into the game. Most people are still talking about cats. Apparently, like, Kaliko's got the thing with say put the cat on the inside.
No,
that's Isle of Cats.
Isle of Cats.
Yeah, that put your cat in there. I suppose Kaliko's too small a box. That wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we just had one pass by.
Our cats are walking around us. I'm waiting for one just to hop up.
I was going to say, if it hops up on the screen, you're putting in the solo layout, but I'm not quick enough to notice it at the back of your little screen and then go over it. It's like, no, I'm not that quick, as evidenced by trying to get to the number 4s.
All right, so this may be a crossover. At the number 4 spot is Yamatai.
Well, what do you mean it maybe? It is. I've just already talked about it. I thought this was like, you're guessing my list now. And it's like, well, this is clearly it. This is like insider knowledge.
Yeah, so everything you were saying earlier, we were just like, yep.
Yeah, we were trying to keep our mouths shut too much.
Yeah, I mean, I
did the same with Wingspan, so.
Yeah, we like the game, and it's also just one of those you just love to look at, and just the beauty of it just makes the game even better. and all the different ships, different colors all across the board. I mean, the cover itself is just like pulls you in. It's just like, oh my gosh, that's an amazing cover. And the gameplay and yeah, we just love everything about this game.
I feel like it didn't get as much, like it didn't get as popular as some of the other Days of Wonder games, though. Is that?
No,
Yeah,
it didn't. That was always a bit of a shame with it because, like, Five Tribes hit home really strong, but because a lot of people had already played Five Tribes, this one inevitably got compared to it, and as soon as that happens, the second one will usually suffer.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I say, I've got both on the shelf. They're right next door to each other, and I will gladly play both. If you were to like put a gun to my head in that, I probably would choose Five Tribes just about over Yamatai. But they both feel like different enough games, and they're both. I think it was for the fact that they were both by the same designer, Bruno Cavalli, and they were thinky games, which for Days of Wonder is not usually their shtick.
Right.
Yeah, like heavier games. Even though Five Tribes, I would say, requires a bit more brain power than this one does, but even here you've still got to position where am I going to put these boats.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely can, if you got AP and analysis paralysis, I mean, you definitely could find yourself struggling in this one a little bit too. I know we've had that issue before. Sometimes I find myself like taking too much time thinking about this and that and that. If I put my boat here and do this,
anybody I know who's got AP is banned from playing this game. I will refuse to play this with anybody who's got AP. Same with Five Tribes.
Yeah.
But indeed, Tim, this one does get compared. Not because of similar mechanics, just because of the weight.
Right.
Yeah, both Days of Wonder does not generally do thinky games. Five Tribes and Yamatai were the two that they did.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and like I say, they both looked gorgeous, and they both required. Yeah, they both had some potential AP issues. They both were simple to get into. This one's probably easier, I think, than Five Tribes slightly. But, neither one of them are particularly complex. It's just the decisions you got to make with, in this case, the boats, or in the other one. I mean, that's the other thing. This one has multicolored boats you mess around with. The other one has multicolored meeples. There were just these little triggers that basically said, oh, is this anything like Five Tribes? And it just inevitably happened. And the majority of people did tend to say Five Tribes over this one, but because I mean, even then, even if they weren't necessarily a fan of Five Tribes, I don't think as many people latched on to this one, which is a bit of a shame, really. Yes, it's abstracted and all get out. Why are we doing this weird formation with color ships? There is no thematic sense to it. But I can think of worse games I'd want to play from an abstracted point, especially when it looks this gorgeous on the table.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely enjoyed this game for sure. I mean, gameplay and the looks of it. So. Yamatai.
This is more love for beautiful games, people. That's what I want to see.
Did you do your number 4?
No, I didn't. Yes,
like, what?
In fact, let's just rewind a second. There you go. I always said that one thing was going to screw up on this list, and it's like we got so far without any issues, and then I do that one. It happens, but it's because we crossed over, and I thought, oh, hang on a minute, yeah, that's because you did that one. All right, yep, my number 4. This is the most recent game on my list because I didn't want to put anything that I was previewing on my list, and haven't fully played. So I mentioned Eternal Palace and Meadow. I didn't want to put those on, but I have played enough games of Honeybuzz to know that, I mean, I'm not going to spoil too much about whether I like the game or not, but I can't deny it's just gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I know Jody mentioned it multiple times when it first started coming out. Like, the look of it was definitely something that was drawing her in for sure.
The Elf Creek are just pulling out of the bag.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Yeah, this Atlantis Rising didn't make my list because as gorgeous that game is, it's really the play mat that sells it. When you put it on the play mat, it looks a lot better. Yeah, so I thought that was a cheat. But this, though, everything in here is just a gorgeous bit of production. Even like your little hive is nice. But that board.
Yeah.
Everything on there is screaming out color, and that this should be a Pixar movie, but I swear they might have done one. I can't remember if Pixar did a Bees movie already. I know someone did, which didn't get a lot of buzz, no pun intended. But oh, trust me, the amount of those I'm gonna have to make when I do the actual video review for this, which there will be one coming, people. There's going to be a detailed review on this soon, but everything with this like setup board. I mean, just that bit alone, you can see like the bee characters there. You can see the animals there collecting the honey, the order cards. Everything just looks so good, and I'm not going to spoil too much about level hate. Well, all right, spoiler alert. I don't hate the game, but how much do I like it? That remains to be seen. But a lot of it, certainly, even though it is fairly abstracted, it's an economic game at the end of the day. You're moving a little bee around. You're building up your little hive. I do like getting the gummy honey, and I'm almost tempted to dip that in actual honey, the first player marker. It's just asking for it, but it's just a nice little economic puzzle. But as much as I don't tend to go for economic games, the light ones I don't mind so much, and this is very light. Build up your little hive, get a little bit of honey, fulfill these little order cards, or just buy and sell at different prices. But other than that, it's a pretty simple game, which a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be. I was expecting something a bit heavier, I must admit, but this is family weight, I would say. This certainly, if I'm thinking of light economic games, the only one that crosses my mind on a similar animal front is Raccoon Tycoon, and I would 10 times rather play this than Raccoon Tycoon.
Yeah, I definitely, this has been on my list. I haven't been able to get it. I definitely want to, it's on my list to get and play. I'm really liking Elf Creek games. There's stuff that they got. We gotta get this game.
Well, trying to get it was hard enough. I had a UK supplier literally get a few copies in. I just instantly grabbed it, not knowing if I was going to like the game or not. I just thought, God, I couldn't get a review copy of this at all. I don't think Elf Creek knows I'm around that much, so I just wanted to grab it and at least try it, because I played the game solo mode, just looking at these pictures here. I mean, you got the little bee thing there. Some of these little ones and that one there, they got little hats on and everything. It's just little cute details like that.
That's funny.
That's sell it. But I was thinking characters. I thought because I mentioned that this could be a Pixar movie.
Yeah.
It's I'm thinking Queen Bee. Right, okay, there's Judi Dench. She could happily voice that bee. You've got the accountant bee there. That's I forget his name, but the guy from the IT crowd. It could totally be him. And there's various other bees around that you're just thinking I've already come up with the voice cast.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Pixar, email me, we'll talk. Right?
Yeah.
I want some of the rights. Right. But with that said, finally, yes, we can actually go into the freeze. We can, right? Yeah.
Yes. Number 3. So you know how you like those chunky dice from Seasons, and you just like them?
Resist.
So
if board game ramblings was in the chat, I might have been tempted to grab them out or something. But I think there's only so many times I can do that running joke of picking up the dice and acting like a schoolgirl.
Yeah. Well, okay, so this game has a bunch of different dice, colorful dice. I love it. Woo! Yeah! And it is Reavers of Midgard. So
I was hoping it was Seasons.
No, we actually let a friend borrow Seasons right now. I didn't have it. Otherwise, I would have brought it out. So,
I almost typed in Seasons.
Yeah, so Reavers of Midgard. We really enjoyed this game, and we love. It's beautiful. It can be busy for sure, but I don't mind that busyness. I actually really like it. We both like it, the game, and I just have this thing with dice and all these different color dice.
What's all those dice again?
Yeah.
They keep falling.
So I enjoy components. So but you're placing your ships out, taking actions, and this game you collect a lot of stuff. You get a lot of different things, and it's a little point salad where you can score a lot of different points through different cards. Some set collection with your cards. But every time we play this game, especially whenever we do the subdue territories action with the tiles, I don't know, it just kind of feels like Christmas morning. Like we're always just like, ooh, what are we gonna get this time? What kind of goodies are we gonna get?
Yeah.
So we have fun with that, but we just love the colors, and it's just pretty. And then of course, did I already mention the dice?
They're no match for seasons, but they're good.
Yeah, they're not as big, but there's lots of them.
Yes.
There's lots of them, so lots of them in lots of different colors. So that's fun.
Yeah, and this is a game that's, normally I like more of the abstract or something like that. Definitely don't tend to gravitate towards something that's more Euro type thing. But this is one that I actually really enjoy. I think the color of the board makes it that's part of the reason. It just like all the different stuff it pops, and I love looking at it. And then, like she said, you feel like you get a bunch of stuff every turn, and so I kind of like that point salad feel in this game. So it's a lot of fun for me too.
So it feels like the board's like trying to make it more immersive than the game actually is, because it definitely is a point salad abstract Euro when you get down to it. Like it could have been any theme in the sense, like the Viking theme is not in this. You are for those sort of looking at it, go, oh, this is a beautiful thematic game. It's like, it's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it ain't thematic. You are collecting cards. It's just a case of which section would you like a card from.
Yeah.
And mostly a kind of set collection thing. Yeah.
Right.
I remember trying this one. That point salad. Well, actually, I do like point salads. I've got a few of them there. I don't know. I think it was just like everything was collect cards. I played it for a little while and then thought, yeah, I'm kind of done, and then like got rid of it eventually. But it was fine while I had it. I think it just like, I don't know, after repeat plays, I was kind of done.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, we're just still having fun with it. So yeah.
But I did feel bad about getting rid of it in a sense, because like I want a reason to keep this because it does look nice.
Yeah, definitely.
But good, yeah. Because even the cards themselves are pretty sweet, and yeah, you have got the dice. Like I say, they just need to be 3 times bigger.
Yeah, we didn't get the version that has like the wooden towers, the wooden, like we have tokens.
Oh, yeah, it's not the deluxe version or anything like that.
So we still like I mean, of course, having the wooden pieces probably would up the factor even more for us, but
I'm surprised you haven't got it.
Yeah, that well, we might work on that.
Well, that and the Takenoko set.
Oh, well, Takenoko set is number 1. Like that's
no, but you don't need to pay the heating. Well, it's warmer at your end, I guess. But yeah, he's like, you don't need to pay the heating bill or anything this month. Food's overrated.
Yeah, just eat some bamboo from the backyard, So.
Definitely might find it cheaper and easier just to get an actual panda. All right, number 3 on my side again might be a contentious one. The thing with this, alongside the whole water-based artwork, the main thing I've also got is spacey artwork, and sometimes it's hard to call space beautiful because. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is black, but there's only so much you can do with it. And there's a lot of space board games that I think look mostly quite ugly. Yeah, because they tend to be very abstracted, or it's like very more heavy strategy rather than anything like that. But Red Raven Games, Ryan Lockett, the art machine. Yeah, you already know what it is. So
I knew. Yeah. I had a feeling last night. I was like, oh, I bet you he's going to put this game on there. I'm pretty sure.
Gotta put it on there. This is just beautiful.
Yes.
All of his games are great artwork. This guy is a machine, the fact that he can do everything himself. And I am certainly not, gonna hold back on getting this played tomorrow if I can help. I don't know if I've got much time to, but the sooner I get Sleeping Gods to the table, because I only just finished unboxing it today, the better. But this one, oh my word, that board. Yeah, even all your player boards and that as well, the components all look good, the extra tiles, but I've never seen a prettier looking space game in my life. I will just stare at either the cover looks really good. I'm trying to find
Yeah, I've never seen that.
It's I got to browse through. I mean, that's just what it looks like when you don't set it up.
Mhm.
And already just the blues on that already
Oh,
just
yeah.
looks like something out of like Guardians of the Galaxy rather than Gravity, for example, you know, if we're comparing like films and that in space. But once you've got all the parts set up, and I know I found some good pictures before. That's a little bit messy, but I know there's better ones. There's like people on BGG are slacking off at the moment. That's better.
There you go.
All about that. When you've got the
Wow.
different planets, random setup, everything just looks like a proper space epic. And I'm sorry, you know, all the Twilight Imperium fans and, you know, the Eclipse fans and that, those games do not look anywhere close to as nice as this one.
Yeah, this man, yeah, I don't have this game. This is very high up my list. I love space games, and I mean, Ryan Lockett, his artwork is just spectacular. And so combine those two, yeah, this is high up on my games I want list I have. Yeah, I gotta get this one because I love space, and so this is just absolutely gorgeous. So, gotta get this one.
There's only
This is
so
my
many
first time
space games,
seeing
though.
it. So. This is my first time seeing it, but I
thought I
love
showed
it.
it to you.
You may have. Then I may be lying. So
Well, this is your inspiration to get it because you could work with this.
yeah,
yeah.
I can work with
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
You would have no trouble trying to find shots for that. But
That's right.
I love this one because I mean, can't stand. Well, I'm trying to think of other space games I've played. I mean, I'm trying to remember what it was. It was I think it was I don't know if it was GMT or someone else. I think it was like Space Faring 2849 or something, like some weird spacey game. But it was like spreadsheet in space the game or something. It was like, that doesn't look good at all, and it's like a 4-hour luck fest. The Eclipse, not the biggest fan of either. Is like, you know, just because you put it in space doesn't deny the fact it's an economic checkbook game, because that's essentially that one. And as much as I get some enjoyment out of Twilight Imperium, I don't need to play the game for 6 to 8 hours to get enjoyment out of it. It's just like too long for me. That's always the problem. But with this one, I can get it wrapped up with like 2.5 hours max with 5 players, like the maximum lot. But I mean, I've had like games of this in 60 to 90 with 2 players and somewhere in between. Otherwise, I mean, the game length is hard to determine because of like it depends how fast you go through the power deck, the cards you use. But because I suppose if you don't know much about it, it's like the deck timer is a deck of cards that you use to power like certain actions you do. So they've got a number rating in order to. I wonder if I can find some examples, but they effectively. There you go. So the number dictates like your combat power boost and a few other bits and bobs. But then each card is also like an action you can do on your turn or some mission to do, like go deliver this to so and so, go blow up this thing, you know, or just go to this region, spend it, they're pretty abstracted missions, but it all just tells that little bit of a story to help with the immersion. And then you've got the events that turn up randomly during it, and you want to get an idea of variety. Each planet, you don't use every planet in the game, like a couple are left out. Each one has got about 6 or 7 event cards, unique events that just come out of the deck at whatever time, they're shuffled in, and you only use 1 for each planet. There's a lot of events. There are some events in this game, plenty of events I've not seen yet. Like, they've not turned up. But anything from like an economic collapse to a giant serpent monster comes on one planet, to alien invaders, to a self-destruct bomb on one planet. Like if you don't go sort it out quick enough, the planet goes off. It's like it's such just lovely little narrative bits like that. But even if someone's got AP, I'm just staring at everything, especially that board.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. We're getting this game. This is shortly after that Takanoko giant version. Oh my gosh. Yeah. This game has been high on my list for a while, and this just reiterates that I need to pull the trigger on this one.
It needs to be. Nipping your quote there at the moment, yes, I just had Meadow literally on the screen about half an hour ago, and yeah, that would be an honorable mention. I was like, I don't think it would have made the top 10 by itself, but it is a very beautiful game. So when I get round to doing a blitz review of that one, I'll probably comment on it a bit more then.
Yeah, I saw some of your pictures on Instagram, and oh my gosh, yeah, we definitely are gonna have to try that game out because it has cute animals, it seems, and pretty artwork, and that's just my thing. So yeah. Oh my gosh, trying to get that one too.
I say there's no excuse these days, I think, for games to not have good artwork anymore.
Yeah.
I know plenty of people that are like, oh, theme scheme, they don't care, and it's like, all right, fine. But if they say, oh, I don't care if it's bad artwork, you know, don't be so hard on it for it. It's like, because people got on my case with Dune Imperium, and you know, I gave it an 8. I mean, come on, guys, I gave it a great rating, but I did go hard on the aesthetics because I'm like, I'm sorry, as much as I know nothing about Dune, and as much as the game is fun, it's ugly as sin. I'm sorry, it is bland, muted colors, and I get that works with the setting. Then don't pick Dune as your setting. You know, it's like, you know, I've got a great game about the inside of a garbage bag. You know, but it's all black. There's nothing nice to look at. Then don't make your game about the inside of a garbage bag. It's like, pick something pretty. You know, a weird analogy, but it's just, yeah, you know, aesthetics mean something. And these days, you just got to find a talented person to do your art. And I mean, this guy does it all himself, but there are good artists out there. They do exist. You just got to go hire them, pay them a bit of money, and get them to do your art, and you will have a nice looking game. So when somebody puts out a game that looks, I mean, components is a different story. I don't know enough about that kind of thing, but you know, when you look at the art and you just go, no, that is just bad art. You kind of got to think, well, you're just cutting corners then, because you clearly are trying to do this on the cheap, and you could easily just find someone good. Every country has got a good artist. I don't know, but well, mini rant over.
I'll let you introduce this one.
Okay, so this is one of our newest ones, and it came out last year, and we just think that it has just an incredible presence on the table, and that is Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Oh, do you know how much I went on my short list deciding if I was going to put Arnak on the list or not?
Oh man!
I thought, could this make like my 9, my 10, something like that? And I just thought, I don't know, are people going to cry foul on this one? You've got it as your 2.
Oh man! The first time we laid it out on the table, I was just like staring at it for a while because it was just so beautiful.
So we've also got not just that, but we have a game mat that's got Ryan Lockett artwork on it, and so we laid the game out.
Yeah, from Game Toppers.
A game mat from Game Toppers. It's like
a Ryan Lockett design.
It's a Ryan Lockett design, and so you lay Arnak out on top of his artwork, which is like a forest kind of a theme or kind of thing. It looks really.
Oh my
really
gosh!
Good.
I need to see that.
Okay. So I think let's see. Hold on.
Well, we'll definitely be posting because we just did a photo shoot of this game. So we're going to start putting out some photos on Instagram. A lot of this game, although I can't remember if the photo shoot was on the blue mat or that mat. But yeah, it's a really pretty mat. But this game, and we love this game too. I mean, I love deck building and worker placement and resources, and we had a blast playing this game. And then, I mean, the tiles, the Guardian tiles, I mean, the artwork on there of all the different Guardians. I mean, the whole board, and then the board's double sided, has like other scenery and stuff. Oh my gosh, yeah, we could go on and on about the resources, like the little manuscripts.
The tablets, the arrowheads, the rubies, it all just looks so good.
Yeah, and I feel like
I can't believe it. It's like, I felt like people are gonna cry foul or something if I put it on. I thought I held back. I'm putting this in my 11 now. This is my 11. Actually, no, Kanagawa, get off my list. That's my 10. Like, I feel it is a beautiful one. I mean, I can't remember what put me off it as such. I mean, maybe just the manuscript stuff on the right hand side, or is it because I love that picture that goes down the left there. the sort of sun setting
Yeah.
and then coming back, and then you've got the tiles. Yeah, I do wish. Oh, why didn't I put this on the list?
Yeah, and I mean, so I know it's a little nerdy. I mean, I like reading rule books. I know not that's not for everybody, but I tell you what, this is like the best rule book. One of the best rule books I've ever read. I mean, even the rule book itself was pretty and like thematic and like I don't know. We just felt really immersed in this game, like in the. I don't know. We felt like we were in the jungle researching and moving up the research track and finding the lost temple and and all the card artwork. I mean, we could just go on and on about this. I mean, it was just absolutely stunning. So there we set it for you, Luke. We set it for you. So there you go.
At least someone got it on the list. I'll take that as a consolation prize. I don't know what held me back. It may or may not have ended up somewhere at the top of my 2020 list. It's like I do love the game to bits.
Yeah.
And it is certainly a beautiful game. I don't know what held me back. I think maybe just because I'd only just recently been going on about it, like,
Sure.
I love the game, and then sort of going, oh, you're just putting this on every list now. And it's like, well, no, it is a beautiful game. And no, it doesn't have a awful mechanics. Thank you very much. So I don't think I didn't notice that. This game is absolutely beautiful, and it has great mechanics.
Yeah, we really love this game for sure.
Over that, I mean, I'm more of a pure deck building fan, so if you do slot it into a game, you got to do it right. This one I thought did it really nice, not like certain other cow-themed games I might mention, but everything does look pretty, so I'm just glad it got onto one of these lists. It's like, here's my 11. There you go, Arnat.
There you go.
Oh, well, can I redeem myself at all after that? Not entirely. Possibly. But you haven't mentioned this one yet, so it's gotta be your number one. If it's not your number one, I'm going to be very... I think people will want answers as to why it didn't make your list.
We'll see.
But we'll see. But, animal themes, all good. Anything with like cutesy artwork, bright, colourful animal artwork. And even though one of the centerpieces of this game is a complete gimmick and not needed, this just instantly puts me back into the kind of like Animals of Farthing Wood type setting. And of course, how can Everdell not make a beautiful games list? I don't even own this one. Friends of mine own it. Enough people I know own it, so I don't need to worry too much. But this one, yes, okay, it's a gimmicky tree, but it sets the scene along with the board, even with the expansion stuff on top, with the river, the little gummy berries as well. Green's my favorite color, maybe that helps. But even on top of that, all the card artwork that you've got. Trying to get off the horrible blueness there. But all the artwork on these cards is just really good with all the different animals in there. Again, you could just imagine this as a TV series.
Mm-hmm.
Much in that kind of Animals of Farthing Wood thing. And everything just screams out really beautiful. And like I said, I'll be shocked if this is not your number one. No spoiling now, but I'll be curious, because this one, it's just screaming out color and imagery and photo ops and things like that. And I'm trying to read your faces to see if there's a poker face there. It's like, are you hiding from me? But nah, I mean, even in terms of enjoyment, I'm kind of burnt out on it. I mean, I like it. I do like the game, but I think I've played the base set to death because friends of mine want to play it all the time. The first expansion was so-so, and I've yet to play the, what's it called, Spitfire or Spirecrest or something like that. Spitfire, no.
Spirecrest.
Yeah, the one with the rabbit and the journeys or something. I've yet to play that one, but so maybe that would rekindle it. But I've never necessarily wanted to own the game. I've got enough Tableau builders for it, but I know enough people that have it, so if it comes out, I am mainly going to stare at the pictures.
Yeah, it's definitely a beautiful game for sure. Yeah, I would love to watch a TV series in Everdell.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this game it's a little deceptive because it's got all the little, like, the cute little animal artwork. You might think it's for kids, but it's definitely a little bit more challenging. It's not a kid's game, that's for sure.
No, there's a bit more to it, to the words, but there's certainly a bit more. And yes, don't worry, Nell. I take your point. So, I know you weren't implying it. I'm just having a laugh because a lot of people are doing the whole Lost Ruins of Arnak versus Dune Imperium debate or something, and I'm always on the Arnak side. And it's like, you see people coming out going, Arnak's got horrible, like, Arnak was a boring game for me. And it's just like, did we play the same game? How can it be? Interesting one there. We'll get back to this one. We'll talk about parks a little later. But yeah, I think most people are kind of on the same side that they do like the artwork in this. Do you have any big problems with the tree?
So definitely if we were to play with 4 players, we don't really play with 4 players because of the tree. And I really like components and that, a visual part. So I like having it blinged out. So we typically play with 2 or 3. And then I have the tree, and we kind of scoot it down toward the end of the table, and we all have our tableaus and our city in front of us.
And I think the game's a bit of a table hog anyway, so just like the space on our smaller table is not conducive to more than 3 players. Yeah, we just need a bigger table. That's how I've heard that.
It can be, because even though the board doesn't take up much, the cards eventually do.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And the tree is... I mean, I don't like to play this with 4 players anyway, so the tree doesn't get in the way for anybody I'm playing this with. Right. 1 on the left, 1 on the right, 1 in front, we're good. Right. But yes, player 4 would have a problem, but this game outstays its welcome above 3 players. Yeah,
well, and with the Belfair expansion, I mean, it eliminates the tree and has like another little board to put up there instead of the tree. I mean, supposedly you can play with 5 or 6 players with the expansion. We have yet to do that, and that would be like the world's longest game, I think.
No, I just did an Architects of the West Kingdom expansion overview, and that is like one of the few occasions where an expansion says we've added a 5th or 6th player that I actually go, you know what, the game still works. Most of the time, any expansion says we've added a 5th player, and now I immediately write off that section of the expansion because I know you're just doing it to sell more copies.
Mm-hmm.
You can now play it with more people, as if you find it impossible to get a game group with less than 5 people ever. Most games do not work with 5. End of because it's not even the best for party games. Most games can take a long time at 4, so 5 it just gets to ridiculous levels. But then even if you're thinking of a big group game. Granted, I could play something like Dixit and Obscuria and that with 5, but then part of me is thinking, but 6, 7, 8, some of these games work better with a colossal amount of players. 5 is just like the universally one of the worst player counts to try and find games for. It doesn't work with most Euros, and even for party games, it's like on that cusp of might work, but maybe it's just 1 too little. Doesn't work in here.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, you got the whole big board, and then can you imagine 6 players, different cities? Like, wow, there's not enough space to do that.
Even on this table, this Geekers and Day would probably be a bit of a mission. It's doable, but I wouldn't want to. I mean, just trying to get 6 people in this room, I think, would be the problem. As much as the table is slightly too big, because I got the measurements wrong when I was doing the measuring for the room. I didn't understand the plan where it had the little where it's got the inset for the door. I didn't realize that was what they were taking to be the extent of the length. So where the wall comes in a little bit, it's like, so the table's in here and people can sit round it, but I usually volunteer to be the one that's on the bit more constrained bit because a lot of my people might be more rotund, shall we say, than the average person. I might you go on that side of the table. There's more room. But not much I can do about it because we barely got it in the room. It's not coming out. So it's not coming out unless someone takes a chainsaw to it. Put it that way.
Oh, okay.
Like I say, like the table. I just wish I maybe just went a tiny bit smaller. That's the only thing with it. All right, but for tables, number 1s. Is my theory going to be proved right?
Well, all right. So number 1, I guess I'll introduce it.
Let's see if Luke is right.
All right. So number 1 is The Amazing World of Everdell.
Yes. 20 million points.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I know we've talked about it a lot already, but oh my gosh, Yes. Love this game. Love this game for so many different reasons.
That's right.
Yes, you were very right. This game is, we love this game. I mean, I love worker placement in general, but oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And, we were just actually commenting this week, because Everdell, the base game, has amazing artwork, all the critters and the constructions, beautiful. But we were looking at Spirecrest again, and we played it again, and I feel like they even upped the artwork on Spirecrest, like the cards. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, if the artwork was really nice in Everdell, there's even this little increase in detail in some of the artwork in Spirecrest, and it just kind of amps it up, and you can see it just like in some of the foliage that's drawn on the cards. Look at some of them on Everdell, and it's not quite as detailed as it is in Spirecrest, and just looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it does become a visual spectacle as you've got. I mean, the table hog already with its base set. You then add all the other stuff on the side, and I just say, how on earth do you fit this on? I mean, that's a solo game. That said solo game in the description. Wow. Seriously, I mean, I can't talk if it's a heavy Euro. It'll be the same kind of table space, but man, but I'm trying to find some of the card artwork. I can't find any. I mean, like I say, I can only find that one example. Everyone's taking pictures of everything but the cards.
Yeah,
but
so
I just see what you mean. These are pretty sweet.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little more crisp and detailed. Oh my gosh, we're looking through all the cards again. We're like, this art is just absolutely stunning. Of course, you have different cards, the weather cards and the discovery cards. These are those discovery cards. And okay, can I just say, I mean, in Spirecrest, you get the big critters where you put saddles on them and have the little critters on top. I can't get over that. I just can't.
I've not played Spirecrest yet. I guarantee that's the first thing I'm going to do. It's like, whatever strategy gets me those saddles and the mounts, I want that. But
yes,
because I think there's one there. The wild. I'd probably want something better than the warthog, but still, anything will do. I mean, this type of artwork I'm a fan of when it's used on the card, because you've got the picture on the left, but it looks like it's all one picture and the text is on the right in a sense. Like it all blends in. It's not like it's cut down the middle.
Yeah.
That always happens. But I got to admit, these ones do look, something about them does look better.
Yeah, it's stunning. I mean, I just love this world. Like I want to live in Everdell.
Yeah, this is one of those games where if anything new comes out for it, she's on it.
Oh yeah, I mean, you got those new expansions. They're talking about those new expansions. What was it? What are they called? The one with the train. New Leaf. New Leaf is one of the new expansions, and I
thought somebody was. I thought because I felt both got mentioned Mistbrook and New Leaf, and because the first one wasn't called Mistbrook, it was called Pearl something, wasn't it?
Pearlbrook, Pearlbrook.
So that was Pearlbrook. Oh God! So there's actually more expansions coming.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm
hopping on board that train. No pun intended for the New Leaf version. But yes.
Did you just say they've got trains coming to this?
It's a train theme in the New Leaf. Yeah.
Coming into town.
Fail.
I don't know if there's actual trains, but it's like a train theme where you got like new critters coming in or something. I think. I don't know. I don't care. I love this game. I'm getting everything for it.
If that's all it is, then maybe. But you dare try and put trains in a world like this? It's like how you can make it like less interesting by putting trains in there. But I can't believe it's getting more expansions though. I mean, I know it's popular and it's that, but I've not even played Spirecrest or any stuff from Belfair. Granted I don't own it, but I can't imagine I would want to play with every expansion included because besides the table hog, it's just got too much going on. And personally, I didn't really find Pearlbrook to be that interesting in itself. I kind of want to play Everdell and Spirecrest, try that out and see if that's like my golden way of doing it. Belfair's got some random bits, but 2 more expansions on top. I mean, who's gonna play all 4 expansions at once.
Yeah,
other than you maybe, but
yeah, no, I don't really think they're supposed to I think Belfair you can play with Pearlbrook and Spirecrest, but I don't think it's meant to play Spirecrest and Pearlbrook together. But yeah.
but then that's problematic because then you're saying, oh yeah, but you can use this with this, but not this with this, and that just not only alienates half of it, but get that train off the screen. No, wrong. Rating. 1 out of 10.
Oh man.
First big clothes were in brand new critters, constructions, and events to draw in. It also features the train station board, resource delivering train cars, travel worthy tickets, and nothing else on it. I mean, I'll let it off because as much as I harp on trains, I do have 2 or 3 train games in my collection. It's usually the pick up and deliver bit I don't mind. So that bit I'm okay with. And if this is literally just it's like the train from Harry Potter or something. It's there as a set piece and it does its thing. It's not the focus of everything. So if that's all this is, it's just like, yes, okay, it could have literally been a taxi, or as we're in a fantasy, effectively animal setting, it could have literally, I don't know, been like bugs or something that carried people along, bug transportation. Then it does the same thing. But I mean, I would certainly try it, but I'm just a bit worried that that's going to be just too much bloat.
Oh yeah, but this is like one of my favorite games, so I don't care. I'm just going on.
You're not going to talk her down, I promise.
Yeah.
I've no intention to, because I will happily try it. I mean, it's at my cafe. I've got friends who are. Is it called Mistbrook? Because it's not even showing on Board Game Geek.
I think it was on. I saw it the other day. I think the Mistwood. Yeah, the Mistwood. The artwork on the Mistwood one looks really, really intriguing. It's definitely calling my name.
Oh yeah, that is pretty good. Oh, speaking of bugs. Is this going to be like combat defense or something? I mean, I can see myself going for this expansion. If this is what I think it is, where you've got to defend yourself against a horde of spiders. I mean, granted, I won't want to stare at this board very much because I hate and petrify the spiders. But man, if that was it, Nightweave, the villainous Nightweave plots to take over Everdell with the aid of her spiderlings. Pitch your wits in solo 2 or 3 player games and recruit heroes. This almost looks like a side game as opposed to an expansion, but because it's in the Everdell setting, but the way it's talking about it doesn't sound like it's an expansion, even though it is technically an expansion. I mean, I don't know how they're going to weave it in, but granted, I'm going to hate looking at spider pictures as if it's good artwork, but I will gladly sign up to a game where it's like, so hang on, so we get to defend and beat back spiders? I'm in. Or like all in on that. I'll just get Everdell and this expansion, like none of the others, I'll just get these 2. Well. But, all right. And then, number 1, you didn't have this one on your list, and I'm curious on that. I mean, I knew that Everdell had to be the number 1. I thought I can accept this one maybe not being on the list, but no way Everdell wasn't going to make it. And that's before I knew you were a fanatic over it. So, but I mentioned earlier that some artwork where it's stark, a white background with pretty colors on top, and that can still look really nice as well. Things like Time Stories used to looked good with that whiteboard with the cards on top, and even on the Underground, the new Ludi Creations one, it's just a whiteboard with the tracks, but it looks very, like I say, that word stark is kind of what it does. But when people sort of think, right, I need a pretty game, just tell me a pretty game, one of the most relaxing games you can possibly get ever, everybody instantly thinks of Tokaido. It's with the cover is obviously a minimalistic cover, but yes, a lot of the board is white per se, and I'll certainly try to find a better main picture of it. But again, I suppose we're going with that Japanese style artwork, which I do love the look of. But this game is just a thing of beauty when it's on the table with whiteboard, the nice track, pretty little colors that stand out, like everything, that contrast thing, it sticks out. But then not just necessarily beautiful from what was that?
That's our cat.
That was the cat. The cat's like had a fit going, you put Tokaido on your list? It's like, what are you on about? It's like, how could you? It's like, why was Kaliko not your number 1? But playing this, it's not just like visually pleasing from an artwork perspective. I mean, doing these panoramas, I love going for this in the game. Again, this watercolor background, but everything is just pleasing from every other like like everything's beautiful from every other sense of the word. Like I want to eat all the stuff on these menu cards, just by looking at the pictures of them. And while playing this, even though you're blocking each other from routes, you can't just help but just feel relaxed. It's I don't know, relaxingly beautiful. Does that work? But it's kind of weird. It's pleasing to all senses, but with these little art pieces, the souvenirs that are all nice. I think something about just like color on white looks nice, and on there. But whether you're a fan of the game or not, you think it's too simplistic and that because it is bare bones simple in its base set. Add the expansion in, it does add a bit more to it. Just takes it a bit out of gateway level, but adding Crossroads is nice. But I struggled to think where I was going to put this on the list because I take my rankings with a pinch of salt because I wasn't certain how on earth I was going to rank 10 for beauty. But when I sort of thought that definition I said at the start about please the senses aesthetically or something, I thought, yeah, this one pretty much pleases all senses aesthetically or something. I just can't help but be like, oh, I've had a stressful day. It's okay. There's always Tokaido.
Yeah, it's a super. I mean, when we played it, I remember it feeling it's like a peaceful experience.
It's calming.
Yeah, and you're right. Like that white clean background with the color, it's beautiful. That with that minimalistic art style, and then it was definitely peaceful. I mean, it wasn't our favorite game. That's why we kind of moved on from it. But it's definitely a very pretty game for sure.
Yeah, because I've still got the collector's edition in the other room or something. I don't want to get shot of it. And I must admit, that Kickstarter's taken a long time, probably because of COVID, but whatever it's called, Namji, or Namji or something, the new one. Like that one I Kickstarted because I kind of, God knows how on earth you spell it, but it's Namiji in that. But maybe it will turn up if I just put Nam in God no, it's just going to be Vietnam games, isn't it? Which is not a good thing. Somebody in the comments know what it was called, Namiji or yes, Namiji. There we go. So it's kind of like their sequel that they're doing to it. Nice. So again, white background here, and this one, I don't think there's going to be any final previews. I mean, this is probably I think there's some updates that have been made, but again, white background, the pathway. This one's about sailing boats, so you've got the sculpted boats in that. I have no idea if this will be that much fun to play or whether it will just be like another sister clone to Tokaido, which will probably mean I'll still enjoy it, even if I don't think it's the best game ever. But it's just like, I just want to look at it, if nothing else. I'll get this game just to talk about how pretty it looks. So I'm interested to see what this one will be like when it eventually, I don't know when they're going to finish this Kickstarter. It's been on for a while, but I got to imagine they're in the late game with it now.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty one for sure. Can't deny that.
Yeah.
Either that. I like the idea of the trains, yes, spiders, nope, I'm out. Which is a fair enough. I mean, I wouldn't say yes to the trains bit at first. I mean, if anything, it's kind of like, all right, we'll give you 2 new expansions. And it's like, one's on trains, don't care. And the other one's on spiders, I'm out. But yeah, I'll try the chains one just because it's going to have animals and it's going to be like fancy and nice. And then I'll try the spider one purely because I want to kill them all. I don't think the game's going to be going quite as gritty as that, but I'm sure I'll make it that way.
Oh, Josie, come here. Come say hi. Come say hi. You're famous for the calico picture. There you go. Wait, no.
Hey,
look.
Dare you put up? Yes. That's what I gotta do now when I share this later. Say it's like stream's done. Check it out. By the way, a cat makes an appearance. Instant million views.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But that was. I mean, if you missed it earlier, if you came in late, go back to what was it? Your number 5 or something. I'm trying to remember where.
Number 5.
Yeah, your number 5 Coleco. Find the end of that where they showed it against the cover. Or look at their Instagram channel and like look backdated for it or something. It is a spitted image. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of like honorable mentions wise. I mean, people had mentioned, Sleeping Gods looks good too. Granted, I have to admit, just from unboxing it and going on the back of it alone, I'd be surprised if this one didn't make the list if I obviously had a chance to play it by then. But the problem is you could technically put every single game by Ryan Lockett on here.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm not sure I want to have the whole list taken up just by Ryan Lockett, as good as he is. But a lot of it would also be an eye of the beholder thing, because in terms of artists, are there any artists in particular you can think of that? I suppose I don't know a lot of artists by name, but maybe like a designer or publisher that uses a similar artist that and like. But Ryan Lockett's an easy one to remember because obviously he's a designer and a publisher. But then I would think to someone like Vincent Dutrait, as he does like really great art, but I don't tend to go for his artwork. I mean, Atlantis Rising being an exception, and one or two others. I was like, maybe because I don't need, his style is not the type of art I go for. But I'm curious as to whether you know of any specifically.
The main ones I know you already mentioned. I know like what is Ian O'Toole. He does a lot, right?
Yeah.
I think he did Pipeline that we have in the box cover. I love the box cover for that. That's beautiful.
The cover is good.
Yes, the cover is good.
As far as I'll go.
I mean, I like the game, but it's definitely not as pretty on the board. But that's okay. I like it. Looks nerdy. I like the nerdy looks too. So
that is the thing, because funny enough, I did look up some other lists when I was like doing research for this one, and I did like see like somebody had put like other games on there, and Pipeline was one of them, and I just thought, really? And it's like, and I got to admit, I wonder if they were just mainly talking about the cover.
Yeah, the cover.
The cover is nice.
Yeah, I love the cover. When you get inside, it's not as.
But then I don't find that to be that pretty. I mean, I know I mentioned like Takeda with the Stark look, but that doesn't look like great artwork. It looks easy to read. I had no trouble with the graphic design when I was playing it, but I just sort of like. I can't imagine like putting this on like a top of the head of a beautiful games list or great artwork list.
Yeah.
The cover alone is not enough.
Right.
Because even then I give it respect, but I'm still not a fan of it. But like the Brass games, I want whoever did the art on the Brass games to get more jobs, because I want him or her to do more work, but just on a game that I want to play more often. But you can't put Brass on a beautiful games list because it is dirty, gritty Birmingham of the UK, and coming from experience, Birmingham is not the prettiest city in the UK, so it's like, it's not that, as much as the art looks great in it, I can't really call it beautiful. It's accurately depicting dirty, grimy Birmingham, and I hope nobody from Birmingham watches this show. I very much doubt it, but I don't know, Ian O'Toole's art I do like, but I don't know if it's like I go like, oh yeah, this is beautiful. I think it's just more that he knows how to do graphic design well.
Gotcha.
So I've got enough Lacerda games behind me, and people will put Lisboa on a beautiful games list, and I'll admit Lisboa is a nice looking game, but I don't know. Is that the problem I have with Lisboa is that when you try to look at the board, it's quite a busy board with the color palette that's being used. Like everything kind of blends into each other. So it is very picturesque, but then again, it's more that it's just graphic design wise. You look at Everdell and you've got like the full immersive picture of like the forest, the landscapes, the animals and that. Here, it's a bunch of sectioned off bits of the board for Euro mechanics. Everdell looks like one big picture with stuff on top of it, whereas stuff like this looks like a bunch of little sections bolted together that look good. So it's kind of like weird to describe, but it's why like I look at this game and I go, okay, it's pretty, but full on beautiful, I go mad for, I'm not sure. And another thing with like Ian O'Toole's stuff is that as much as he's done like some of the Lacerda games, I'm trying to think, sadly he's been roped into doing train games, so can't be all good. But I mean, cover's nice, lots of greens and that, but he'll get praised for that's an old version of Irish Gauge. I was going to say, at least find that one. And I mean, granted, it's clear to read in that, but I don't think you can mess up the art for green. It's green hexes and different shades of green. I'm not sure I call it beautiful as such. It's just nice and it's clean.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like there. And I mean, I get it from Lisboa that I've sat down with Vital Lacerda himself and played Lisboa with him, and like he's gone into a lot of detail as to like the historical part of what made that game. And yeah, blue and white makes sense. That's what the color of I can't even pronounce that word, the azujos or something. But I know that blue and white was the traditional colors, but it's just like when you try and make a Euro game board to feature those colors, it's hard to make it work. It's too light. It's like too bright. You can't necessarily make a lot of stuff out. We mentioned contrast with a lot of other stuff before, and so you've got a white board, but you've got very dark colors on top of it. We already mentioned like the darker things like Abyss and Empires of the Void, and a couple of your choices where it's like it's a dark board, but then the colors stand out. This Boer, everything blends.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like I say, not kind of ugly, but is why I wouldn't make my list on there. Trying to think of what. I'm trying to load up my drive for other honorable ones.
I know for us, you want to mention the two that we kind of were both.
Well, one that we saw somebody had already kind of posted something.
I think
about,
the Nerd Shells mentioned parks.
They mentioned parks, and that was one that was like on the list, like on our list of like top ones that we were like trying. It just fell off. It's probably 10 or 11, or it's probably 11 or 12 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
it was close.
If I enjoyed it more, I probably would have stuck onto this because I don't deny it's a beautiful look. Well, some of the cards are a little bit plain. I mean, the sort of visit the pile trail ends and stuff, and I'm not desperate about the wooden pieces as such. If anything is making me go, oh, it's a beautiful game, it's the cards.
Right,
more than anything else. The board is a little disjointed, but I like the cards on there. I mean, I didn't mind it too much. The problem I had is that most of the time it gets played with too many players, and I think this is really a 2-player game. As soon as you put 3, 4, or 5 players in there, this game goes on 3 times longer than Splendor does. And I'd rather play Splendor. It's like it's because that's basically what this game is. It's Splendor with a track. Yeah, because that's what you're doing. In Splendor, I can get done in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So when this one takes over an hour, potentially longer with 4 or 5 players in the mix, because obviously you got to go through 3 rounds, 5 players doing stuff. It just sort of took it above that length that I was willing to do it for. Not that I have any other problems with it, and certainly, can't deny it's a beautiful one. Some of this art I would happily have on the wall.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The cards are just beautiful. I want to go to all those parks.
Yeah, I think that was ultimately our thing, though. Was that it was just the card artwork that was really great, and then everything else was kind of okay.
That's the other thing. Yeah, I did have a few on that. I mean, I mentioned on the Underground that was a short list, but didn't think it had enough in it to sort of go. I do love the look of that board, but I think to put that on the top 10, especially if like something like Lost Ruins of Arnak, which was also shortlisted, didn't put on, I think I would have shut the stream down at that point if I'd done that. Dale of Merchants I considered, but then the artwork is nice. It kind of improved as the game went on. The original set is not as good as like future sets, but the problem is that it's a deck builder. It's purely cards. So as much as those animal pictures are nice, it's like it's still only a little bit of art there. There's only so much I can do. Hana Mikoji, the 2-player game, very nice looking cards. I think that was kind of shortlisted and just fell off the list, really. I'd already mentioned Atlantis Rising, and the only other one I considered was Viticulture. But with Viticulture, I don't know. I love it, and I get immersed in it like I'll get at. It is one of my favorite games. But there was just something about the artwork in it that I thought, as much as it's pretty colors and that, I mean, the cover looks great, but I think when you get into the board and everything else, it kind of, there was just something about it that just made me not consider it for a top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks, I don't know if it's just a little too faded or something.
I thought muted at the time. Faded is probably a better description. Yeah, there was just something about it that I thought, you look good, but you're kind of just a little bit short of what it is to be. I think, I mean, not to say that it's bad art or anything like that, but yeah, it does look a little bit more faded. There's only so much detail in it. Yeah. The board's got some of it, but your player board is fairly basic, and it's hidden behind a fair bit of the graphic design. Tuscany, I think, improves it slightly. I think the Tuscany board is a bit more involved, but even then, there's just something about it. I mean, look, I wanted somebody else to do the viticulture art. I don't know. Do you know Michael Menzel?
No, I don't.
Michael Menzel he's done some games with his art, but when he does art, it's typically restricted to the board. And whenever he is basically my favorite artist if he's doing a board. Wait a minute, that's not the one I wanted. Where is it? Because anything he touches where he does the board looks absolutely gorgeous. Now, Legends of Andor, it's a puzzle Euro game. Not the biggest fan of it. It's not thematic at all, but fine. That board is just absolutely gorgeous. Anything, and he'll have. It won't just be like a nice looking board. It will have little Easter egg details in there. It will just look absolutely stunning. Like I even considered briefly Pillars of the Earth, and the rest of the game and the cover is not beautiful in the slightest. But you get the board. I've used that board as a cover photo, like a game in progress using Stonemaier resources on the game of this as a cover photo for like the Facebook group for my local games club. It's been like that for a long time because I just can't find a better board picture.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
Because I'll just stare at that all day.
That looks good.
Even the recent one that I know Joe and Sunniva on my last list a couple of weeks ago, wrongly gave me shtick for this one, but fine. They're Feld fans, what do they know? But we have a fun rivalry. But that's Michael Menzel's board. And it's I think probably Pillars of the Earth and Andor would beat it out. But again, everything just seamlessly moves into place. There's little details everywhere with little guys everywhere, people on little boats, animals in the forest and that. And it's just, even if you played this game and thought, I'm not enjoying the game, I'm sure you would just still stare at the board, just trying to spot things, if nothing else. But he doesn't, I think this one, he actually does do more of the card artwork on this one. This is kind of more all his. I'm not sure if he did the card artwork with Andor, and I certainly don't know with Pillars of the Earth. I think Pillars of the Earth might have been separate. But yeah, anytime I see his name on a box for a board, I want it. I want to look at it at least. I think Agra's another exact. I think this one was his. Not played it. Stupidly complicated Euro by the looks of it. Yeah, Michael Menzel. Yeah, he did that one as well. And can I get the board? There we go.
Wow. Yeah. Oh
That's
my
cool.
goodness.
It's like I just want to. I don't care if it's stupidly complicated, and I may not necessarily like it. It's like I want to play this game just so I can look at the board. Here's a good one. But that's the way it is. Yeah, it's a subjective thing at the end of the day with art. There's a bunch of games that are going to be. I'll be curious to see if anybody who watches this video later or so is going to have their own ideas. I mean, already getting some shtick about Parks versus Tokaido. Tomato, like pick your art. There was a bunch of them on their list, on Jody and Justin's list, that I didn't expect to see, probably wouldn't have considered, but stuff like I think maybe like your first 2 or 3 I just didn't expect, but I would not say that Black Fleet is an ugly game. That does look really good. It just wouldn't have popped to my mind at first, so everybody's going to have a different idea of what looks good for them, but as I said before, there's no excuse for a game not to look good anymore. If someone could just tell Splotter Games that'd be great. But I don't know. But well, 2 hours on there, so maybe time to wrap this one up on that. So but I mean, thanks a lot, Jody and Justin, for coming on to this.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us. Yeah, we really enjoyed it. Thanks so much for having us.
Don't worry, it won't be the last. I'm going through as many small creators as I can, but there'll be repeats.
As long as I can talk about Everdell, I mean, I'm good. So.
He's not gonna have us back. Come on.
I'm trying to think of what list of it because I mean,
Everdell expansions.
I mean, by all means, just drop me a line as to what you want to talk about. So I don't have to suggest it, but whether it's a discussion topic or a top 10. But I mean, I'm trying to think what top 10 animal games. Trying to think what's.
I do love me some cute critters. So.
That could be a fact. I mean, I don't know how many people are crying out for a list about top 10 animal-themed games, but okay, Everdell would feature on it, I'm pretty certain. But then we'd guess your number 1 in advance, and that would be like a bit of an easy one to guess, really.
Yeah.
Although I'd be surprised if people didn't think Everdell was going to be high on a list like this. It kind of needed to be, along with a few of the others. But should be cool as well. So, by all means, everybody, if you have not heard a board game perspective, like I said at the start, shame on you. But, they have got a YouTube channel. Check it out. I will put links in the description to both the YouTube and the Instagram once I get around to editing the timestamps on it. So just bear with me on that one. But the YouTube channel needs more love. But failing that, just go check out the Instagram channel because that's more their shtick anyway. Whereas I'm the noob on Instagram, they know what they're doing. So you've only got to look at their pictures to know why. But yeah, all well and good. So yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, thanks so much. We really appreciate it. We had
thanks
fun.
for having us, Luke.
All right, up. Take care, everyone in the chat. Thanks for turning up, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.